Title: AITA for catfishing my underage sister on Tinder and humiliating her to teach her a lesson. Verdict: asshole. Last week, I was using my sister Riley's phone because mine was dead and I needed to call a friend to confirm plans. While I was dialing, a Tinder notification popped up from some guy messaging her. Riley is 17. I immediately asked her why she was on Tinder, and she snatched the phone out of my hand and said, "None of your business." That just made me more suspicious. At first, I didn't want to go straight to our parents. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe she was just swiping for fun, not actually meeting anyone. But I also kind of wanted to mess with her a bit and see what was really going on. So I decided to make a fake Tinder profile and see if Shed actually talked to me and agree to meet up. I have a good friend from back in college, Max, who happens to be a male model. I called him, explained the situation, and asked if I could use his pictures. He thought it was hilarious and told me to go for it. I created the account, set my age to 22, set my swipe radius to 1 mile, and started swiping. I found my sister's profile pretty quickly. Her age was set to 19, even though she's still in high school. That alone made me more suspicious, because she was clearly lying to look older and attract older guys. I super liked her, and less than an hour later, she matched with Max and messaged first. We started talking. I kept the conversation light and flirty, and she was completely into it. I pushed things a little further to see how far she'd go. I suggested we meet at a fancy restaurant downtown on Sunday afternoon and then head back to my place afterwards. It was very heavily implied that this would be a hookup. She didn't hesitate. She agreed right away, said it sounded great, and asked what time we should meet. She then told our parents she was hanging out with one of her track friends and spending the night at her place. As soon as she left the house, I told our parents everything. I showed them the Tinder profile, the messages, and how Shed lied about where she was going and who she was with. They were furious. I suggested that we all go to the restaurant and confront her there. In the end, my dad and I went without my mom. We got to the restaurant and saw Riley sitting at a table by herself, all dressed up and clearly nervous excited, waiting for Max. She kept checking her phone and looking at the door. My dad walked up to the table and said, "Max isn't coming." She looked up, confused, and then saw both of us standing there. Her face went white. She asked what we were doing there, and I told her there was no Max, that it was me the whole time, and that it was incredibly stupid for her to be trying to meet grown men off Tinder at her age. My dad backed me up and started lecturing her right there in the restaurant. He went off about her lying to us, sneaking around, and being willing to go back to a stranger's place after just meeting him. He pointed out that she had no idea who this guy really was or what he might do. We were a bit loud, and people started looking over at us. Riley's eyes filled with tears, and she eventually burst into full-on crying, grabbed her things, and ran out of the restaurant. My dad and I followed her out, but she refused to talk to us and just wanted to go home. Later, I told my friends about what happened in a group chat. Most of them thought it was hilarious and said she needed a wake-up call. But 2 of my female friends called me a fucking dick and said I was cruel and humiliating her in public like that. They said I could have talked to her privately instead of setting up this elaborate trap and embarrassing her in front of a whole restaurant. My perspective is that she was about to go meet a random 22-year-old guy from the internet, lie to our parents about it, and then go back to his place for a hookup. She's 17. In my mind, that's dangerous as hell. I felt like she needed a serious, memorable lesson so she wouldn't do something like this again. I'll admit I went pretty far with the whole fake profile, the fancy restaurant, and the public confrontation. I know it was harsh, but I also feel like if she had actually gone through with meeting a real stranger, things could have been way worse than a little public embarrassment. For what it's worth, things aren't completely destroyed between us. People in the comments of similar stories always say, "She'll never speak to you again," but that's not the case here. Not long after everything blew up, we ended up playing video games together for about an hour. She's still mad and embarrassed, but we're talking. So, AITA for catfishing my underage sister on Tinder and humiliating her in public in order to teach her a lesson?